He's been called the Eric Clapton of chefs, a true rock. He's dying laughing at that one. A true rock star in the kitchen for more than 30 years. Jonathan Waxman has been wowing jaded New Yorkers with his California cuisine.
He came by his innovative style naturally. Born and raised near Berkeley, California, Jonathan Waxman was perfectly situated to take up the hippie life, and he reveled in it for years. But for decades now, he's been one of the world's most accomplished culinary masters and restaurateurs. Chef Jonathan Waxman, welcome to the dish.
Thank you very much.
Pseudo Eric Clapton. Walk us
often
through
we get
so
breakfast with Eric Clapton.
let's do the feast first. Cocktail is a rum cocktail. It's 3 kinds of rum: grapefruit juice, orange juice, lemon juice, Cointreau.
Photographs very nicely, I must say.
It's a good morning libation.
Oh,
all right,
nice.
and then these are a version of potatoes I've been doing for years. They're kind of steamed and then fried, rainbow charred, New York steak with romesco sauce, gratin of cauliflower, different colors, and the last is a pistachio cake with whipped cream and raspberries.
You have to tell people what you told me.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is a gluten-free cake because it's ground up pistachios. I love pistachios. And Californians, pistachios, hello. You know, it's an amazing thing. And I think for summertime with the raspberries, it's kind of a perfect thing to have.
Well, you mentioned California. So often you meet people who grew up in California who'd say, I would never come to New York. I want to stay where I was. What prompted your move?
My father grew up in the Bronx. My mother grew up in Bed-Stuy. My father goes, there's no sense of reverse migration. Don't you know why we left New York in the first place? And no, I just, listen, you know, I love coming to New York. And I came here in '83, and I was just this California boy. I had no clue about New York, and I just fell in love.
You were on course to be a musician. You played trombone. You played for Sammy Davis Jr. at casinos.
I know. It's funny, right?
Where did this food turn occur?
Well, you know, I was playing trombone, and I got stuck in Hawaii, and there was nothing else to do. So the people that were friends of mine said, you have 2 options. You could sell drugs or work in a restaurant. So, you know,
What's wrong with you?
I said I'll work in a restaurant, and I fell in love with it. And you know, here's a crazy story. So I came back to Berkeley from Hawaii, and I was selling Ferraris. Don't even ask. And the woman whose husband owned the Ferrari dealership said, "You seem to like food. Why don't you go take cooking classes?" So I took cooking class at this school in San Francisco. And the woman goes, "You should be a chef." I said, "What's a chef? What is that?" And then, so I went to Paris when I was 26 years old.
But I mean, it's interesting you should say that because how we view chefs has so dramatically changed. And you were you started before they were rock stars.
No clue, though. Remember, no clue.
Yeah.
So when I was working in France, I was one of 3 Americans that had a working permit. I didn't know it. I was very lucky because I came back and I got to work at Chez Panisse, and I went to Michael's in Santa Monica.
You auditioned for Alice Waters at Chez Panisse. What was
Yeah,
that
you
like?
know,
How did you sell her on?
I actually was the worst meal I've ever cooked in my life. But I'll tell you why she hired me. She liked my handwriting. She told me later in life. Yeah.
Really?
Isn't that crazy? And then I went to Michael's in Santa Monica, and I was there for 5 years. And had a great time, and I met amazing people. But then I got the Jones to come to New York.
Well, I want to ask you about some of your latest moves because for so long you seemed like you were focused in New York. And now
Right.
there's Toronto and Nashville, which Nashville seems to be really emerging on the scene.
Well, Caleb Followell from the Kings Leon and I became friends.
Kings Leon, the band.
Yeah,
yes.
the band. And so he said, why don't you open a restaurant in Nashville? I said, let's do it. And also we have our music festival, Food and Wine Festival as well. And it was just a great, sort of marriage of food, wine, and music.
And the
it was
music
like
thing's it's coming full circle.
Exactly.
As I hand you this dish and get your signature on it, we want to ask you if you could have this meal with any person, past or present. Who would that person be?
Oh gosh, that's like the most difficult thing in the world. But Albert Einstein, of course.
Oh, I love that choice.
Good pick, really good pick.
That's a great choice.
Chef Jonathan Waxman, thank you so much. And
Thank
for more
you.
on the chef and this amazing meal, please head to our website at cbsthismorning.com. The chef will also be answering your questions on our CBS This Morning Facebook page. Just go to facebook.com/CBS This Morning to join.